Welcome to A Course in Miracles, Lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. No one really sees anything. He sees only his thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything. The one wholly true thought one can hold about the past is that it is not here. To think about it at all is therefore to think about illusions. Very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. The mind is actually blank when it does this because it is not really thinking about anything. The purpose of the exercises for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas is the first step to opening the way to vision. The exercises for today should be done with the eyes closed. This is because you actually cannot see anything. And it is easier to recognize that no matter how vividly you may picture a thought, you are not seeing anything. With as little investment as possible, search your mind for the usual minute or so, merely noting the thoughts you find there. Name each one by the central figure or theme it contains, and pass on to the next. Introduce the practice period by saying, I seem to be thinking about fill in the blank. Then name each of your thoughts specifically. For example, I seem to be thinking about fill in the blank, about name of an object, about name of an emotion, and so on, concluding at the end of the mind searching period with, but my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Wow. That's powerful. This can be done 4 or 5 times during the day, unless you find it irritates you. If you find it trying, 3 or 4 times is sufficient. You might find it helpful, however, to include your irritation or any emotion that the idea for today may induce in the mind searching itself. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. These lessons speak for themselves. Sometimes I'll do my best to provide commentary to bridge the gap between the first time I was introduced to these lessons and then what it means to me now. But I never want to project what it will mean to you because we're each here on a very customized individual course. The words are the same and we're all hearing these words, but they're to be applied on a very personal way. When I first heard this, it just seemed like gibberish. What do you mean my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts? No, I'm right here, thinking about these things in front of me. But what I didn't realize at the time was that I was attaching labels to everything, which essentially is the past. I was attaching, which is understandable. This is how the mind works. This is how the natural mind works, is it puts things together, it groups, it categorizes, it creates schemas. And the first step for me to be more present was to accept this teaching. That most of what I was thinking about was the past or the future, neither of which exists, and that was causing me indeed to not be in the moment, the only moment that is real, the only moment that exists. The past is gone. I think we all agree about that. Where is it? I can't find it. It's not here anymore. So when I think about it, I'm thinking about something that no longer exists. The future doesn't exist yet. I can't tell you where it is. It's just not here. I don't know what it will look like. I can make guesses. So if I'm thinking about the future, I'm thinking about guesses, which is also illusion. The only thing I can be certain of is this moment, this here now moment that actually exists. And as I became more aware that my mind was so preoccupied with past thoughts, I became more aware of how little I was actually alive, how little I was actually right here, right now, in the one moment that exists. I hope that's helpful in some way to put this into context and why it's important for us to understand and to learn and to accept that our mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Sitting in stillness for a moment or two after receiving these lessons can be really helpful in integrating it into your mind, your heart, in a way that makes sense to you. And if some of the lessons don't make sense at all, it's okay. Don't allow that to make you feel stressed or upset. Simply accept, I don't understand this. But I'm open to understanding it. I'm willing to understand. Sometimes for me, there were lessons, 3 or 4 lessons in a row that made very little sense. And then it was the 5th lesson that clicked. And all of a sudden, all the prior ones made sense. So don't put too much gravity or weight on any one lesson. Don't feel like if I don't get this, then I won't get any of them. It's not true. Today's lesson might make very little sense. Tomorrow's might make perfect sense. And it might illuminate what you learned the day before. The important thing is to do the lessons with an open heart and open mind, and trust that your understanding will unfold. The lessons will make sense. You will replace illusion with vision. Thanks for joining me for lesson 8. I'll see you tomorrow for lesson 9.